Men over 60, a geriatric doctor reveals 5 forgotten habits for renewed strength and independence. Let's be honest for a moment. If you're a man over 60, does opening a stubborn pickle jar feel just a little harder than it used to? Or maybe, do you find yourself thinking twice before carrying that heavy laundry basket up the stairs? Most people just sigh and they say, well, that's just getting older. It's a common frustration. But what if I told you that's not the whole truth? The real culprit isn't the number on your birthday cake. It's a silent process called sarcopenia, or age-related muscle loss. In fact, a groundbreaking 2022 study from the respected Journal of Gerontology showed that adults over 60 can lose up to 1% of their muscle mass every single year if they do nothing. But the study also revealed something incredible. It showed that simple, specific habits could dramatically slow or even reverse this process. This reminds me so much of my patient, George. He's a wonderful 72-year-old grandfather who was terrified of becoming a burden on his family. He truly thought his days of playing catch with his grandson were over. But by making a few simple changes, the very same ones I'm about to share with you, he regained his confidence and his strength in just a few months. I'm Drived Out Audrey Wells, and everything I share with you is backed by solid, peer-reviewed science. In the next few minutes, I'm going to give you 5 of these science-backed secrets. They will help you fight muscle loss, stay strong on your feet, and protect your most precious asset, your independence. Alright, let's get right into our first secret. This one is the most important because everything else we discussed today builds on top of it. Secret number 1, the Forget the Gym Foundation. Now, that might sound a little strange coming from a doctor, but please hear me out. The foundation of lifelong strength after 60 isn't about intensity. It's about consistency. Gentle, consistent motion every single day. But here is the critical mistake I see so many well-meaning men make in my practice. They hear advice like this and they immediately think they need to become a gym person. They picture loud music, intimidating machines, and young people lifting heavy weights. They believe they need to push themselves to the point of exhaustion. They think that 30 minutes of pain, maybe once or twice a week, is better than 10 minutes of pleasant movement every day. And that is a profound mistake. For many, this approach doesn't lead to strength. It leads to injury, to burnout, and to a feeling of discouragement that makes them stop altogether. Worse, it can make them feel like they've already failed, when in reality, they just started with the wrong strategy. So, why is this gentle, consistent approach so much more powerful? It comes down to the simple science of how our bodies work as we mature. First, gentle motion acts like a warm-up for your entire system. It tells your body to produce more synovial fluid, which is the natural lubricant for your joints. It gets the blood flowing to your muscles, making them more pliable and less prone to strains. Second, you are activating your muscles, not punishing them. This consistent activation sends a signal to your body, a very important signal that these muscles are needed. It's a biological request to hold onto them, to maintain them. You don't need to tear them down to prove you're using them. And third, and most importantly, it builds the unshakable power of a habit. A habit your brain doesn't have to fight. And please, don't just take my word for it. This is backed by extensive science. Research from the National Institute on Aging, one of the most respected authorities on health for older adults, consistently shows that regular, moderate activity like walking is far more effective for overall senior health than sporadic, intense exercise. The key factor they found was adherence. In simple terms, people actually stick with it. The best exercise in the world is useless if you don't do it. A gentle daily walk is the one you will actually do, day after day, year after year. Here's a simple way to think about it. Imagine a beautiful, classic car, a 57 Chevy, maybe sitting in the garage on a cold winter morning. You wouldn't jump in, turn the key, and immediately floor the gas pedal, right? Of course not. You know you damaged the engine. Instead, you start it up, you let the engine warm up gently, you let the oil circulate. You give it time to get ready. Your body, especially now, works the very same way. It needs to be coaxed, not commanded. So, how can you put this into practice safely and effectively, starting today? It's wonderfully simple. You don't need any special equipment. You don't need a membership. Start by choosing one small, almost laughably easy action. Perhaps it's a 10-minute walk right after you have your breakfast. Or maybe, while your morning coffee is brewing, you do a few gentle stretches in the kitchen. Stand up and sit down from a sturdy chair without using your hands 5 times. The key here is consistency. Link the new habit to an old one you already do, like brewing coffee. And of course, always check with your own doctor before starting any new physical activity. I had a patient, a lovely woman named Barbara, who was 74 and had become quite fearful of falling. She started by doing just this. She told me, Dr. Wells, it feels silly, but her only goal was to walk to her mailbox and back once a day. That was it. But she did it every day, rain or shine. After a few weeks, the mailbox felt too close. So she started walking to the corner. Now, a year later, she walks a full mile every morning. She says she feels more solid on her feet than she has in a decade. And she discovered a great synergy. She found that pairing this gentle walk with our next secret, which is all about fueled, amplified her results in a way she never thought possible. It's a small tweak, but it made a world of difference for her, and it can for you, too. Now that we've established the foundation of gentle, consistent movement, we need to add the second, equally crucial layer. This is a skill, not just a secret, and it can literally save you from months or even years of pain and recovery. Secret number 2, listen to your body's whispers. I want you to really think about that phrase. Listen to the whispers. Here is the mistake that is so common, it's almost universal, especially for a generation of men taught to be tough. The mistake is ignoring or actively pushing through the small aches and pains. It's the no pain, no gain mentality that might have served you in your 20s, but can be incredibly dangerous in your 60s and beyond. It's that little twinge in your knee on the stairs, that stiffness in your lower back when you stand up, and the voice in your head that says, "Oh, it's nothing. Just walk it off. It's just a normal part of getting older." That thinking, that habit of ignoring the signals, is a mistake that can take a small, manageable issue and turn it into a major, debilitating injury. So why is listening so critical? Why is it a secret to staying strong? Because those small feelings, those little whispers of pain or stiffness, are your body's incredible, built-in early warning system. They are not a sign of weakness. They are a sign of intelligence. Your body is giving you data. It's communicating with you, telling you that a particular joint is inflamed or a certain muscle is overworked. Listening to that whisper allows you to make a small adjustment today so you can avoid a major breakdown tomorrow. It is the difference between taking one day off to rest a sore knee and being forced to take 6 months off after a serious injury. The whisper comes first before it has to become a shout. And again, this is firmly established in medical science. In the fields of pain management and physical therapy, studies consistently show that patients who are taught to practice body awareness simply paying attention to these signals report better overall physical function. And most importantly, they have a significantly lower risk of falls. This is because they are more attuned to their body's limits on any given day. They are not guessing, they know when to push a little and when to pull back. I love this analogy and I share it with my patients all the time. Think of your body like the dashboard of your car. If the check engine light comes on, what do? You don't put a little piece of black tape over it and pretend it's not there, do you? No. You know that light is a signal. It is a whisper from your car's engine telling you to have a look before a small problem becomes a massive, expensive one. That little ache in your shoulder, that's a check engine light. That stiffness in your hip, that is a check engine light. It is not there to be ignored. It's there to be listened to. So how do you practice this? How do you learn to listen? It starts with a simple 60-second habit. Each morning, before you even get out of bed, I want you to perform a mental body scan. Just lie there quietly. Start with your toes. How do they feel? Move your attention up to your ankles, your calves, your knees. Notice any soreness, any stiffness, any tension. Continue all the way up through your body to your neck and head. It's not about judgment. It's just about gathering information. This simple scan gives you a report for the day. If your right knee feels a little stiff, maybe today is a good day for some gentle stretching instead of a long walk. You are now making an informed decision, not just going on autopilot. I had a patient, let's call him Robert, an avid walker in his late 60s. He felt a small, nagging twinge in his knee. The old Robert would have ignored it, but he had learned to listen. So instead of his usual 2-mile walk, he took a day off and did some gentle stretches. The next day, the twinge was gone. He later told me that his friend, who had a similar pain and ignored it, ended up with a torn meniscus that required surgery. That simple act of listening, it was not weakness. That was wisdom. And here is the synergy with our first secret. That gentle daily walk we just talked about, it becomes your best diagnostic tool. It's during that walk that you'll notice the whispers. The two secrets work together perfectly. Okay. We have our foundation of gentle, consistent motion. We have our skill of listening to our body's whispers. Now, we need to add the fuel. Because you can have the best laid plans in the world, but without the right building materials, you simply cannot maintain a strong structure. This brings us to secret number 3, the protein power-up. This is all about prioritizing protein in every single meal, but most critically, at breakfast. Now, before you think you already know this, let me share the huge mistake that I see countless men making every single day. They eat what they've always eaten for breakfast. Maybe it's a bowl of cereal or a piece of toast with jam or a muffin. It's quick, it's easy, but it's almost entirely carbohydrates. And here's the bigger mistake that lies underneath that habit. It's the belief that as you get older, your protein needs actually decrease. That you need less fuel because you're less active. That could not be further from the truth. In fact, your body's need for high-quality protein increases as you age. It becomes less efficient at processing it, so you actually need more just to get the same benefit. Starting your day with carbs and very little protein is like asking a construction crew to go to work for the day with no bricks and no mortar. So why is protein so non-negotiable? The science is incredibly clear. Think of your muscles. They are made of protein, and the essential components of that protein are called amino acids. These are, quite literally, the building blocks of your strength. Every day, just through the process of living and moving, your muscles sustain tiny, microscopic tears. This is normal. Your body then uses the amino acids from the protein you eat to repair those tears, and in doing so, it maintains or even builds the muscle. But if you don't provide enough of these building blocks from your diet, your body has a problem. It still needs those amino acids for critical functions, and it will get them from the only place it can. It will start to break down your existing muscle tissue to get what it needs. You are, quite literally, sacrificing your own strength. And this isn't just a theory. It is a well-documented scientific fact. A landmark study from the Gene Mayer USDA Human Nutrition Research Center on Aging at Tufts University, a world leader in this field, made this crystal clear. They found that older adults who distributed their protein intake evenly throughout the day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner had significantly better muscle mass and physical strength than those who saved most of their protein for their evening meal, which is what most Americans do. The breakfast dose was the game changer. Here is the best analogy for this. Think of your muscles as a beautiful, strong brick wall. Your daily activities, even just a simple walk, create tiny, invisible cracks in the mortar between those bricks. It's just normal wear and tear. Protein is the fresh mortar. When you eat a protein-rich meal, you're sending that fresh mortar to the wall to patch up all those little cracks, keeping the entire structure solid and secure. But if you skip the protein, those cracks don't get repaired. And over time, with more and more unrepaired cracks, the wall becomes weak, brittle, and unstable. So how do you do this? How do you power up with protein in a simple, practical, and affordable way? Your goal should be to aim for about 20 to 30 grams of protein with your breakfast. And this is not complicated. 2 or 3 eggs with a piece of whole wheat toast is a fantastic start. A cup of plain Greek yogurt, which is packed with protein mixed with some berries. Even a simple scoop of a quality protein powder mixed into your oatmeal. This doesn't have to be expensive. A carton of eggs, a large tub of cottage cheese, these things cost just a few dollars, but the return on that investment for your health and your independence is immeasurable. I had a patient, Mary, a wonderful woman in her late 60s, who was always complaining about hitting a wall of exhaustion around 2 in the afternoon. She was a muffin for breakfast person. We made one single change. We swapped her morning muffin for a cup of Greek yogurt with a handful of nuts. She called me a week later. She said, "Dr. Wells, it's like a miracle." Her energy was stable all day long. There was no miracle. We simply gave her body the high-quality fuel it had been begging for. The synergy is this: that protein you eat for breakfast provides the building blocks that your gentle daily walk needs to maintain your strength. One without the other is just not nearly as effective. All right, we have our foundation of gentle motion. We are listening to our bodies, and we are fueling them with the protein they need to stay strong. Now it's time for secret number 4. Which is all about keeping your body and your brain guessing. Secret number 4 is this: mix up your daily movements. This means incorporating varied, simple movements throughout your entire day, not just saving it all for one designated exercise time. And this leads us to one of the biggest and most dangerous mistakes of modern life. For people of any age, but especially for seniors, the mistake is sitting for hours on end, believing that the 30-minute walk you took in the morning somehow cancels out the next 8 hours you spend sitting in a chair, reading or watching television. That is a dangerous myth. You can be someone who exercises regularly and still be living a dangerously sedentary life. These long, uninterrupted periods of sitting are devastating for your muscle integrity, your circulation, and your metabolic health. The walk is wonderful, but it cannot undo the damage of prolonged inactivity. So why is breaking up this inactivity with varied movements so critical? It all goes back to what the human body was designed to do. For thousands of years, we were not specialists. We were generalists. We were constantly standing, walking, bending, lifting, reaching, twisting, all as a natural part of our day. Each of these different movements engages different muscle groups. Bending to pick something up uses your glutes and hamstrings. Reaching for something on a high shelf uses your shoulders and core. This variety is not just about muscles, it is also about your brain. It keeps your nervous system sharp and adaptive. This connection between your brain and your muscles is what controls your balance, your coordination, and your reaction time. It is absolutely critical for preventing falls. And now, modern science is finally catching up to this ancient wisdom. There is a concept that is gaining incredible traction in the research community called movement snacks. I love that term. And the science behind it is powerful. A 2020 study published in a leading medical journal showed that breaking up long periods of sitting with even 2 to 3 minutes of light activity, just a short walk around the house, a few simple stretches, can significantly improve blood sugar control, and most importantly for our topic today, it can boost muscle protein synthesis. That means it literally helps your body use the protein you eat to build and maintain muscle. It turns your whole day into an opportunity to get stronger. Here's the analogy that makes this click for my patients. I want you to think of your muscles not as one single thing, but as a team of specialized workers. You have your walking workers, who get used during your daily stroll. But you also have lifting workers, balancing workers, and reaching workers. If you only ever ask the walking workers to do a job, what happens to all the others? They get bored. They get lazy. And eventually, they get weak and they retire. To keep the whole team strong, sharp, and employed, you have to give everyone a small task to do throughout the day. You have to mix up the assignments. So how do you do this in a way that feels natural, not like a chore? You sprinkle these movement snacks throughout your day. It's simple. When you're watching television and a commercial comes on, don't just sit there. That's your signal. Stand up from your chair and then sit back down. Do it 3 or 4 times without using your hands for support. This is a mini squat. It's one of the best exercises for leg strength. When you're talking on the phone, don't just sit. Stand up and walk around the room. When you bring in the groceries from the car, don't try to be a hero and carry all 8 bags at once. Carry them 1 or 2 at a time. This adds more trips, more steps, more movement. I saw the power of this firsthand with my own father. He was having more and more trouble getting out of his favorite armchair. It was becoming a real effort. So we made a simple rule. Every single time a commercial break started, he had to stand up. That was it. At first, he grumbled about it. But he did it. It seemed so small, so insignificant. But it was the synergy of all those little movement snacks, dozens of them every single day, that retrained his muscles. Within a month, he was popping out of that chair with ease. It truly transformed his mobility and his confidence. We have come to our 5th and final secret. And in some ways, this might be the most foundational one of all. It's so simple, so fundamental, that it is almost completely forgotten in our search for complex solutions. Secret number 5 is hydration. The forgotten fountain of strength. And I mean consistent, adequate hydration with plain, simple water. Now, let's talk about the mistake that nearly everyone makes, and I mean everyone. There are actually 2 common mistakes. The first is waiting until you feel thirsty to drink. Thirst is not an early warning sign of dehydration. It's a late one. By the time your brain sends the signal that you are thirsty, your body's cells, including your muscle cells, are already in a state of deficit. The second mistake is believing that other beverages like coffee, tea, or juice are just as good as water for hydration. While they contain water, many of them also contain diuretics like caffeine or high amounts of sugar, which can actually increase water loss from your body. They are not an equal substitute for pure water. So, why is water, specifically, so essential for muscle strength and physical vitality? The reason is biology at its most basic level. Your muscles are not solid blocks of tissue. They are over 75% water. 75%. Even a very mild state of dehydration, as little as a 2% drop in your body's water level, can significantly impair muscle function. It can reduce your strength, slow down your reaction time, and lead to fatigue and cramping. Proper hydration acts as the lubricant for your entire muscular system. It helps transport essential nutrients, like the amino acids from the protein we just talked about, into your muscle cells. And it helps flush out metabolic waste products that cause soreness. Without adequate water, everything else we've discussed simply cannot work efficiently. And the scientific evidence on this is overwhelming, especially for our age group. Study after study on hydration in older adults shows a direct and powerful link between low water intake and an increased risk of falls. This is a critical point. Dehydration doesn't just make your muscles feel weak. It directly affects your cognitive function, your reaction time, and your sense of balance. It can cause dizziness and confusion. These are all critical factors in staying steady on your feet and maintaining your independence. Staying hydrated is one of the most powerful, proactive things you can do to prevent a life-altering fall. The analogy I want you to remember is this. Think of your muscles like little sponges. When a sponge is well hydrated, when it's full of water, it's plump. It's pliable. It's resilient and works exactly as it should. But what happens to a sponge when it dries out? It becomes stiff. It becomes brittle. It's hard, and if you try to bend it, it can easily crack and break. Your muscles are the same. When they are dehydrated, they become stiff, brittle, and much more prone to cramping and injury. So how do we fix this? What is the practical, simple way to ensure you stay properly hydrated? It's not about chugging a huge amount of water all at once. It's about creating a system for consistent sipping throughout the day. I want you to go find a designated water bottle, a pitcher, or even just a large glass. Fill it up first thing in the morning and place it somewhere you will see it constantly, right on the kitchen counter, next to your favorite armchair. Your new rule is simple: every time you see it, you take a few sips. Your goal is to simply make it to the bottom of that container by the end of the day and refill it. For most healthy adults, aiming for about 6 to 8 glasses a day is a great target. But it is very important to check with your own doctor about the right amount for you, especially if you have any kidney or heart conditions. I had a patient, a gentleman in his early 70s, who was being woken up almost every night by terrible, painful leg cramps. He thought it was just something he had to live with. We didn't change his diet. We didn't change his exercise. We changed only one thing. We set him up with this exact water pitcher system. He called me 2 weeks later. The leg cramps were completely gone. The synergy here is incredibly powerful. Those hydrated muscles respond so much better to the protein you eat and the gentle movement you do. It's the secret that makes all the other secrets work. So there you have it. 5 simple but profoundly powerful secrets to reclaiming your strength and protecting your independence. To quickly bring everything together, we've learned the 5 keys: gentle, consistent motion, listening to your body's whispers, powering up with protein, mixing up your daily movements, and never, ever forgetting the magic of hydration. But as I always tell my patients, knowledge without action is just entertainment. So here is your doctor's order for this week. A simple 3-step action plan. First, just choose one new protein source to buy on your next trip to the store. Maybe it's Greek yogurt or cottage cheese. That's it. Second, I want you to set a timer on your phone right now for sometime later today to take a simple 5-minute walk. And third, go and fill a water bottle or a pitcher and place it right where you can see it now. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. A little voice in your head might be saying, "I'm too tired," or maybe "It's just too late for me to make a real difference." And I am here to tell you with all the conviction of my medical experience that the science is clear. Your body is designed to heal and to build at any age. The smallest step forward today is infinitely more powerful than the biggest, most perfect plan you make for tomorrow. Please remember this. This isn't just about avoiding weakness. This is about being able to kneel and plant your garden in the spring. It's about having the strength and the confidence to pick up your grandchild for a hug. It's about holding onto your independence with both hands. That is worth fighting for. So if you're ready to take that first step, no matter how small, I invite you to join our community of men who are taking back control of their health. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our future guides. And more importantly, go to the comments section right now and write to simple words, Day 1. This is your public commitment to yourself. Let's start this journey together. Thank you so much for investing your time with me today. In my next video, we'll explore the one simple kitchen spice that scientific studies are showing can help soothe aching joints. You won't want to miss it. I'm Dr. Audrey Wells, and my mission is to help you add life to your years, not just years to your life. Be well.